Aman was a young man who always believed that tomorrow would be the perfect day to start changing his life. Every morning he woke up with big dreams in his mind. He wanted to become successful, healthy, confident, and respected. He imagined a future where people admired him and where his family felt proud of him. But every time he thought about starting something new, he told himself the same sentence: I will start tomorrow. Tomorrow became his favorite word. If he wanted to exercise, he said tomorrow. If he wanted to study, he said tomorrow. If he wanted to learn a new skill, he said tomorrow. Days passed, weeks passed, and even months passed, but tomorrow never truly came for Aman. His life remained exactly the same. One afternoon Aman was sitting outside a small tea shop watching people walk by. Some people looked busy and determined while others looked tired but focused on their work. Aman sighed and said softly, "Everyone seems to be moving forward except me." The old tea seller heard him and smiled gently. The tea seller was an elderly man named Rahim who had spent many years observing people and their habits. Rahim asked Aman, "Why do you think you are not moving forward?" Aman replied, "Because I have not started yet. But I promise I will start tomorrow." Rahim laughed quietly and shook his head. He said, "Tomorrow is the most dangerous word in the world because it tricks people into doing nothing today." Aman looked confused. Rahim then picked up a tiny grain of sugar and placed it on the table. He said, "Look at this small grain. Alone it seems meaningless, but if you keep adding grains every day, one day the jar becomes full." Aman listened carefully but still felt uncertain. Rahim continued speaking. "Most people fail not because they cannot do big things. They fail because they ignore small daily actions." That evening Aman went home and thought deeply about Rahim's words. For the first time he wondered if his problem was not laziness but waiting for the perfect moment. The next morning Aman woke up and again felt the familiar thought appear in his mind. Maybe I should start tomorrow. But then he remembered the tiny grain of sugar. Instead of planning a big change, Aman decided to do one small action. He walked outside and jogged for just 5 minutes. It felt so small that it almost seemed pointless. But for the first time he had actually started. The next day Aman studied English for 10 minutes. The day after that he read 5 pages of a book. None of these actions were big or impressive. But something surprising began to happen. Aman started feeling a quiet sense of progress. The small actions slowly became habits. 5 minutes of jogging became 10 minutes. 10 minutes of studying became 30 minutes. Reading 5 pages became reading 20 pages. Weeks later Aman noticed something amazing. His body felt stronger. His mind felt sharper. His confidence started growing. People around him also began noticing the difference. His friends asked him, "What changed?" Aman simply smiled and said, "I stopped waiting for tomorrow." One evening Aman returned to the tea shop to thank Rahim. He said, "Your advice changed my life." Rahim poured tea into 2 cups and said, "No, the change came from you. You finally respected the power of small habits." Aman asked Rahim why small habits were so powerful. Rahim replied, "Because big success is never built in one day. It is built by thousands of small actions repeated daily." Aman thought about his journey. Before this he always imagined success as a giant leap. He believed that one day he would wake up with sudden motivation and change everything at once. But now he understood a deeper truth. Success grows quietly like a plant. Each small action is like a drop of water, feeding the roots. If the drops continue every day, the plant eventually becomes a strong tree. Months passed and Aman's life kept improving. He developed the habit of waking up early. He continued learning new skills. He even started helping his younger brother study every evening. The most important change was not just his achievements but his mindset. Whenever he had a new idea, he no longer waited for tomorrow. He simply took a small step immediately. One night Aman was walking home under the stars and he remembered the person he used to be. The person who waited endlessly for the perfect moment. He smiled and realized something powerful. The future he once dreamed about was not created by one big decision. It was created by hundreds of tiny daily choices. Aman understood a lesson that many people spend their entire lives learning. The biggest enemy of progress is not failure or difficulty. The biggest enemy is delay. Every time we say tomorrow, we quietly steal a chance from today. But every time we take even the smallest action today, we begin building a better tomorrow. From that day forward, Aman followed one simple rule. Whenever he felt the urge to delay something important, he asked himself one question. What is the smallest step I can take right now? Sometimes that step was just writing one sentence. Sometimes it was reading one page. Sometimes it was practicing a skill for 5 minutes. But those small steps kept moving him forward. Years later, Aman became known as a disciplined and successful person. People admired his consistency and dedication. Many asked him the secret of his success. Aman always gave the same answer. I stopped waiting for tomorrow and started respecting the power of small daily habits. And the simple truth he discovered is something anyone can use. Great achievements are not built in a single moment of inspiration. They are built in quiet daily moments of action. A single small step today is more powerful than 1,000 perfect plans for tomorrow. The day you stop waiting for tomorrow is the day your life truly begins to change.